This game is the Element Family Demolition Derby game. In this lesson, you will have introduced your students to the names of the various families of elements on the periodic table. This game allows them opportunities to practice identifying members of those families. To begin play, you'll need to have a clear, open play space. You'll also need 5 chairs. On each chair, you'll place labels of the various families of elements on the periodic table. You can find these labels in your teacher edition. Affix those labels to 5 chairs in a circle around your students. Then instruct your students to find a partner and link elbows. Each group of students will need access to a periodic table of elements. To begin play, call out the name of one of the members of a family of elements. For example, you might call out the element name sodium. Students will then find sodium on their periodic table and then determine which family of elements sodium belongs to. In the case of sodium, it belongs to the sodium family, and then the students then, with their elbows linked, will dash over to the sodium chair. Everyone will move quickly to the sodium chair. Once there, they can all return back to the center again. The idea is to be the first person to the chair, but we recommend that you don't eliminate any of the slower players, but instead allow them plenty of time, opportunities to practice identifying these family names. Another example, you might call out the element neon. If they refer to their periodic table, they'll see that neon is a member of the noble gas family, and then they'll all dash over to the chair, which is identified as being the noble gas family. And then they'll move back to the center. Oops. I'll get you guys stood back up there. You can play as rapidly as you want to or slow as you need to. The students generally have a really good time playing this game. A variation is to, instead of calling out the family names, is to call out the number of valence electrons held by those families of elements. For example, members of the noble gas family, as you will have learned when you did the electron dot notation, all have 8 valence electrons, except for helium, which you probably found only has the 2 valence electrons. So if you were to call out, let's say this family of elements has 8 valence electrons, again the students would dash over to the noble gas chair. If you said this family of elements has 7 valence electrons, your students can look at their periodic table and realize it's the halogens, which is fluorine, chlorine, bromine. Those elements have 7 valence electrons, and so your students would dash over to the chair that's labeled the halogen family. And then you can continue play. Sodium family, the sodium family members all have 1 valence electron. So you could say this family has 1 valence electron, and then the students would dash to the chair that's labeled for the sodium family. Again, this game is called the Element Family Demolition Derby game, and we hope you enjoy your time helping your students practice identifying the various members of the families of elements on the periodic table.